Tax Amnesty Program na jinsi utakavyoweza kusamehewa adhabu na riba na KRA. Pia tutakuwa tunakusaidia kujaza fomu za kodi za mwaka 2024 na kukusaidia na huduma za KRA kwa mtaa wako. Alhamisi tarehe 29 mwezi Mei tutakuwa maeneo ya Homa Bay. Tutazuru Oyugis, Rangwe Road, Ndhiwa, Sori, Kendu Bay, Homa Bay Town na Mbita. KRA, tulipe ushuru, tujitegemee.
Formerly, we were using traps. We were using sticks to catch fish. Per day, you can go find your trap without fish. One day you find when fish is there, but it cannot hunt more. Now, when it came to net, also the same. You toil yourself in the lake, you don't get fish. But if you get very little, sometimes you filter water with only one fish. When the Victory Farm came, it introduced us to this pond fishing, which of course we accepted. They constructed 2 ponds on my land. They came and installed fish. Then they said, from this fish, take care of the fish. We shall be coming for the eggs that we are selling to them. These 2 ponds have really benefited me. Now my family can have a very good life. I was in a very high poverty line, but this time I'm now moderate. I can be counted where Kenyans are also being counted, but not where poor people are being counted. Fish is a certain item or type of trade that you cannot lose. People like fish, people eat fish, it pays, it gives a lot of money. It also develops our body with a lot of protein. Those who are taking fish are cooking. Maji yetu, thamani yetu.
We have dwindling stocks of Nile perch, we have dwindling stocks of tilapia, and we need to bring all stakeholders on the table because there are measures that have to be taken to deal with these challenges. One of which we have used over the years is closing the lake for certain periods. And you find that we don't quite agree because people want to go to the lake every day. But if we bring our beach management units and we bring every stakeholder on the table, then we can agree that there are periods which we can close, say fishing of omena and others. We now have the plant in Kisumu, the Kabonyo Kanyagwal plant, which is supposed to help us in generating fingerlings, which should be used to restock the lake. We are working with the fisher folk on security of the beaches, supporting them with patrol boats and patrol equipment. Number 2, we are supporting the groups to get some fishing gear. Number 3, the beach management units have a SACCO, which as a county government we have funded, so that the fisher folk can be able to get loans at a cheaper price. We have also done cages to support our farmers through these cages. We are also giving fingerlings to the fish farmers and supporting them also with fish feed. We are also supporting those who are doing fish ponds outside of the lake to support our the blue economy sector and the fisheries sector. Maji yetu, thamani yetu.
Thank you for watching Lunchtime News. We continue with the day's broadcast and we look at the latest at this hour, where the High Court has issued conservatory orders barring swearing in of IEBC commissioners. Delivering the ruling, Justice Lawrence Mugambi cited that despite the doctrines of separation of powers, he has allowed the vetting of IEBC commissioners by Parliament. However, they will not be sworn in until the petition filed challenging the nomination process is determined. And due to the public interest of the petition raises it, or rather, due to public interest, the petition raises a requirement to mind more of, or rather the mind of more than one judge. Thus, the file has been forwarded to the Chief Justice for empaneling of a bench. And now we link up with our reporter, Ruth, who is at the Milimani courts, to give us the latest following that ruling by Justice Lawrence Mugambi. Over to you, Ruth.
Thank you so much, Karo Njenga, back from the studio. We are coming to you live from Milimani High Court, whereby you understand today Justice Lawrence Mugambi has given a ruling concerning the IBC nominees by President William Ruto. The judge has cited that he has okayed the vetting of the nominees by Parliament, a process which is supposed to be started sooner than later. However, the judge has cited that due to the doctrine of separation of powers by the three arms of government, that is judiciary, the parliament and the executive, he will not halt the process. The process will go on. The parliament will vote for the President William Ruto's nomination nominees to the IBC. However, he has put a conservatory orders barring the nominees from being swearing in or being gazetted by the Kenyan Gazette. So even if parliament verifies the nominees that the names were forwarded to it by President William Ruto, the nominees will not be sworn in or gazetted. That's one of the things that he has given the petitioners, a petition that was filed by Boniface Mwangi, by activists Boniface Mwangi and Ray Omondi. However, on the same note, there is a petition that had also been filed by other activists before Justice Bahati Mwamuye, of which I'm awaiting to know the ruling on the same. There were two petitions concerning the IBC nominees to the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission. The petitioner cited that some communities who have been put away from the process, especially the marginalized communities, were not included in the process. And so they are saying that the process was flawed due to not following the constitutional requirements as enshrined in the 2010 Constitution. they were also stating that there was no transparency in the whole process, and that the names that were given by the president to the House did not follow the legal requirement. And due to that, the judge has forwarded the file to the Chief Justice Martha Koome to empanel a bench, citing that the whole petition cannot be heard by one judge, since it has raised serious constitutional issues that needs empanelment of an even number of bench. An even number of bench constitutes maybe between 3 and 7 judges. So we are waiting to see what the Chief Justice will the number of judges the Chief Justice will give out, so that the process can continue. But in the meantime, the nominees can be vetted by Parliament. Also, another key story that I'm following up today is of former Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua, whose case is coming up at 2:30 p.m. We understand last week Chief Justice Martha Koome also gave a heads up and empaneled a bench. But the same bench that had been empaneled by Deputy Chief Justice Philomena Mwilu, consisting of Justice Eric Ogola, Anthony Murima, and Freda Mugambi, is the same bench that Chief Justice Martha Koome empaneled. So we are waiting for at 2:30 p.m. for the bench, which was given this date, to come and give direction on the way the case will be conducted henceforth. You know, the case, because now this is like a new bench. When the matter comes up at 2:30 p.m., because this is a bench that has now been constituted by Chief Justice Martha Koome, the petitioners might say that it starts afresh. So we were waiting at 2:30 p.m. to see whether when the 3-judge bench will come to say whether it is starting the case afresh, and also give the hearing dates for the case. Back to you, Njenga. I'm following up on these matters today.
Thank you, and I'm so sure you'll bring us a comprehensive story later on, and do look out for that story during the 9 p.m. bulletin. Ruth will file that story for us. Now, moving on to other stories making headlines this afternoon. Renowned Kenya author Professor Ngugi Thiong'o is dead. Ngugi died at the age of 87 in the U.S. Announcing his death Wednesday, the family called for a celebration and his work. Ngugi is widely regarded as Kenya's most influential writer and one of Africa's leading literal voices. President William Ruto has eulogized renowned author Ngugi wa Thiong'o as Kenya's beloved teacher, writer, playwright, and public intellectual.
Kenya is mourning the death of one of its greatest sons, world-renowned literature giant Professor Ngugi wa Thiong'o, who died yesterday in Atlanta, USA. His works documenting the transformation of Kenya from a colonial subject to a democracy.
We apologize for that technical sound hitch. We'll be filing that story or airing that story later on our broadcast once they rectify the sound. Now, moving on to other stories, Treasury Principal Secretary Dr. Chris Kiptoo has confirmed that the government has fully disbursed capitation funds for public primary, junior and secondary schools. PS Kiptoo confirmed that all public schools had received their full capitation by May 19th, 2025. The Treasury had allocated 54.6 billion shillings for free day secondary school. Junior secondary school received 30.4 billion shillings, while free primary school received 8.4 billion shillings.
We are up to date when it comes to a release of funds to schools. We had a budget of 54.6 billion for free day secondary school education for this fiscal year 24-25. And the schools had 3 terms. So we paid first term, second term, and I want to confirm that we have also, on 19th this month of May, paid the last amount of 11.6 billion. So we have cleared that amount. And also for junior secondary school capitation, I want to confirm that the budget was 30.4 billion. And we already paid the first term and second term. And now we have, on this month, on the 19th, we paid 8.9 billion. So we have no balance, at least for this year. And for free primary, we had a budget of 8.4 billion, and we have paid all the amount. The last amount that we paid was 1.4 billion that we did on 19th May. So I just want to confirm to Kenyans that a total of 22 billion was paid on 19th May this year, being the last amount of capitation due to schools. So if there are still any questions around as to whether schools have received or not, I think that's a matter now to be answered by the Ministry of Education, because they have received the money.
Now, to a sad note, the family of Susan Wangeshi Karingi is searching for her after she mysteriously disappeared on the 14th of May 2025. Wangeshi was on her way from Italy, where she had gone to buy clothes to restock her boutique located in Pipeline Estate, Nairobi. The family has been camping at Embakasi Police Station, where the case was reported without getting any answers. They are now appealing to anyone with information on her whereabouts to report to Embakasi Police Station or the nearest one. Now, Kiambu County government has commenced investigations into the death of an 11-year-old boy linked to negligence by medical doctors at Igegania Level 4 Hospital in Gatundu North. According to the County Executive Committee member for Health, Dr. Elias Minor, the county has already fired the doctor said to have failed to attend to the boy. Doctors in Kiambu County have been on strike since Monday over alleged inaction by the county government in improving their welfare.
What started as a life-saving visit to Igegania Hospital turned tragic on Tuesday after an 11-year-old boy lost his life due to alleged negligence. The family's plea to have him transferred to another hospital was futile, as Igegania Hospital management allegedly refused to approve the release of an ambulance to ferry him.
After kupata madaktari wamegoma wakampea tu first aid. Naweza sema tu ni first aid. Juu hawakumfanya venye alikuwa anastahili kufanywa, hawakumpea wadi. Alikuwa huyo mtoto alikuwa anafaa kuadimiwa, hakuadimiwa. Wakasema huyo mtoto labda apelekwe Maragwa. Maragwa yenyewe ambulance hairuhusiwi kufika kutoka boundaries za Kiambu ingie kaunti nyingine. So tukaambiwa tutafute hospitali yenye iko karibu na iko Kiambu County. Kutafuta hospitali zote zikasema zimejaa. Hiyo itabidi mkubwa wa hospitali Igegania atafutwe ndio ongee na mkubwa wa hospitali ya Maragwa ndio apeane ruhusa ya ambulance itoke huku ipeleke mtoto Maragwa. Na ni kutoka 6 asubuhi hadi saa 7. Saa 7 ndio huyo akaanza kufikiwa, hakupatikana.
As the family continues to mourn, the County Executive Committee member for Health, Dr. Elias Minor, who visited the facility, said that investigations into the incident are ongoing.
We shall hold everybody accountable to make sure that we don't have a repeat of this, either in this hospital or any of our hospitals in the county.
He said that the doctors who are on strike are doing so on reasonable grounds and that disciplinary action will be taken against those not reporting to work.
And immediately the names have been brought to us. We are recruiting other staff to replace those ones who have decided to keep away, because we can't gamble and we can't risk on the life of our patients.
The commencement of the doctors' strike in Kiambu County was announced by the Kenya Medical Practitioners, Pharmacists and Dentists Union on Tuesday. According to KMPDU, one doctor will be on call at each hospital at the emergency department to stabilize critical cases before referring them to hospitals in other counties.
Such patients shall be stabilized, and if there is need for further stabilization, shall be referred to Thika Level 5 Hospital and Kiambu Level 5 Hospital. These are big hospitals within the county that have registrars which are doctors in training.
Once again, we apologize for that technical hitch with the sound, but our reporter Nancy Okare is following up on that developing story, and by evening she'll be giving us the latest from the Kiambu doctors' strike. Now, moving on, business owners in Embu town have protested over what they term as rising insecurity sparked by a surge of robberies in the past week, where nearly 10 businesses were broken into and looted. The latest incident saw a mobile phone shop ransacked, causing significant losses.
The protesters, led by Embu Town Business Community Chair Emilio Mungetana, criticized the police for their inaction, with criminal gangs turning the town into what they term as a gangster's paradise. They accused security forces of neglect.
Tunaona Embu Town imekuwa turned into gangsters paradise. Na wale wakora wanafanya kazi hapa, wanajulikana mahali wanakaa na wakiba vitu mahali wanapeleka.
Frustrated, the demonstrators blocked the Embu-Meru highway and set bonfires, demanding immediate reforms.
Fanya nini Embu saa kama hii, kama siku 5 zinafuatana kama Embu bado kunaibwa? Askari tunawaona kila wakati kwa gari, unasimama mbele ya bar, wewe unachukua pesa, unaenda next bar, unachukua pesa, unaenda next bar. Hiyo ndio security ile tunakuwa hapa Embu.
Tutakuja kwa hizi street, tutasema hakuna biashara itaendelea bila county commissioner pamoja na wenzake wahamishwe hii Embu, kwa sababu imekuwa too much. Wamama wanaibiwa, hawezi toka kwa soko wafike nyumbani vizuri.
They also call for the transfer of police officers who have been in the area for over 5 years, claiming they no longer understood the community's needs.
Siku ingine tena ukaibiwa duka 3, pale opposite G4S kukaibiwa duka, hapa Kendaruma kwa building juu kukaibiwa duka, na hizi duka zote zinaibiwa katikati, na hakuna kitu polisi wanafanya, security hakuna kitu wanafanya. Inaenda mpaka inafika mahali mbuzi ya mtu kama OCS pale ena iliibiwa.
The protesters further demanded the reinstatement of Municipality Sub-Location Assistant Chief Jackson Kemau, whom they credited with curbing crime in the region. Alvin Kaunda reporting for KBC Channel 1.
Thank you for that report. Now we head straight to Kwale County, where the Africa Tech Summit is ongoing, and we are joined by our very own Brian Kimani, who will be having an engagement with our very own Managing Director Agnes Kalache, that is the KBC Managing Director, on various digitalization of KBC, and talking about other issues that KBC is facing, and looking at the short-term and the long-term agenda for, or rather strategy to ensure that KBC now we move on. Okay, now we move on now to other stories as we wait for Brian Kimani to link up with us with that interview. And we look at the Masai Mara University, rather in collaboration with the National Research Fund, hosted a 3-day inaugural International Postgraduate Student Conference under the theme Postgraduate Research for Social Transformation. The event brought together a diverse group of scholars and stakeholders from universities across Kenya and abroad. The event served as a vital platform for young researchers to present their work, engage in discourse, and contribute to national development through research, policy, and innovation. Professor Penina Alo, Vice Chancellor of Masai Mara University, emphasized the importance of postgraduate research in achieving sustainable development goals.
Masai Mara University is one of the 14 universities that is being mentored by the Kenya National Innovation Agency, Kenya, to be an entrepreneurial university.
This event signifies a fundamental moment for our institution and for the broader landscape of research and innovation in Kenya. The collaboration with National Research Fund for this conference highlights a shared vision to leverage robust research as a catalyst for profound socio-economic transformation within Kenya and beyond its borders.
Brian Kimani is ready now with the interview with the MD for KBC, Agnes Kaleche, on, among others, digitization of KBC, as well as the short and long-term strategy to reform KBC. Over to you, Brian Kimani.
Well, many thanks, Carol Njenga, back in Broadcasting House. And of course, we are here at the closing day of the Connected Africa Summit. And for the last 3 days here, hundreds of delegates from across Africa have been converging here to discuss nothing less, nothing more but the challenges facing the ICT industry today, tomorrow, and forever. And guess who is joining us this afternoon? We are talking to the Managing Director of Kenya Broadcasting Corporation, Agnes Kaleche. I mean, the Kenya Broadcasting Corporation is the oldest and one of the biggest broadcasting houses in Africa. And so she's here to give us the story of this corporation, where we are and where we are going. She's here with us. Thank you very much indeed, Madam MD, for joining us here. First of all, you give a very interesting and a compelling story of telling, or scaling African stories. Can you give us a little bit background on that? It was very captivating.
Very interesting, and thank you, Brian, for having this session. Well, like I said, KBC, where we're coming from, we are a media house, and one of the strengths, based on the credibility we have as a public media house, is to tell stories, amplify stories about our founders, amplify stories about our young innovators, and help them scale so that they can also get global funding.
I mean, the media landscape is changing just like anything else. I mean, technology, Internet of Things, artificial intelligence, cloud computing, it seems like taking center stage. Where is KBC and how are we prepared for the ongoing disruptions?
Currently, that's very, very exciting, because currently what we're doing, we have a digital strategy. We want to leverage our credibility as a public media house, so that we can also tap into the digital space. When we look at our online digital presence, we are growing, but not growing as much as they have. I understand we have probably infrastructure challenges, but the mission is very clear. We have to take advantage to this digital space. We are training our reporters, we are training our journalists into AI, into even machine learning, but mostly to even grow our online audience, because look at it, the young people, that's where they're consuming, and we have to be where they are. We have to forget that KBC, yes, we do have a public service mandate which reaches the underserved through the analog, but we have a very, very, very vibrant media space. Again, looking at the Kenya, 90% digital penetration, that's an audience that we have to go and serve. So the strategy is very clear, the mission is very clear. We have to play at that level.
I know the government is very committed, is very dedicated, into the modernization of Kenya Broadcasting Corporation, so that it can serve its public mandate, accordingly. Do you want to share with us, some insight into that?
Well, yes, we are currently looking for funding so that we can modernize our infrastructure. And secondly, also, apart from that, come up with new studios, really invest into our digital space. That's basically what I can tell you. I can't go more into that.
Let's also talk about, our digital footprint. I mean, you said it's big, it's growing. Are there strategies to even expand it from where it is now? For example, I know, our Facebook page, we're talking about hundreds of thousands of subscribers. The same goes for Instagram. Same can be said for our X platform. What strategies do we have to grow this going forward?
Of course, O'Brien, we have to increase our digital presence. And one of the things, like you said, is expand our online audiences across all our platforms. We are in Facebook. And by the way, guys, follow us. We are on Twitter.
Oh, yeah, you need to do that.
Instagram, even TikTok.
Even TikTok, yeah.
Yeah, and also our website. And you want to increase that presence so that we can compete with, commercial media houses like Citizen TV, NTV. Apart from that, we also want to, drive our revenue through our digital sales. And by that, meaning that we have to generate revenue by offering digital marketing services to clients, including government agencies. We very soon will be coming up with a digital agency that will be able to offer some of these services to, parastatals like KRA. We are currently doing that, but we want to expand that. So it's very, very exciting space to be in.
And of course, when you look at Kenya as a country, you have a population of 56 to 60 million people. Majority of these, and you're talking about almost 75%, they are below the ages of 40. What are we doing to ensure that we tap into these a critical mass?
I think what we do, our strategy is very clear. It emphasizes on social media, video, looking at the current trend, the current rise of TikTok. If you go to a vernacular radio station, very, very exciting. And I ask everyone to look at our vernacular stations. We have 13 of them. The TikTok presence of them is very high. It's growing. We are able to engage audiences. And we are also looking at that, unfortunately, or even fortunately, KBC lower audiences number and technical gaps, like website, live streaming, suggest we lag behind compared to Citizen and, Viusasa, which likely dominates this space. But that's the space we are going to invest in. And very soon you'll start seeing our numbers rising.
Very good.
Yeah.
The managing director has said this. We are on all social media platforms. She's going to give us those platforms. So I just want you to get ready so that you can start following Kenya Broadcasting Corporation and you can start seeing, watching, and of course, listening to the exciting content that we have for you here. Madam MD, do you want to give our people our social media platform so that they can start following us right now?
Sorry?
You can tell them we are on Facebook, we are on Instagram and all these places.
No, we are on all social media. You can find us on KBC Digital, on X, on Instagram, on TikTok.
Yes.
Follow all our social media pages. I think when you go to our website, you'll see all our brands there and they all have their different social pages. So kindly follow us and give us comment and give us feedback.
Precisely, and of course, every day, remember to watch Kenya Broadcasting Corporation. Our Channel 1 news coverage is one of the best. It's completely unrivaled. For the young people, we have Y254, and of course, we have radio stations from English service to Kiswahili service, Shoro FM for Kikuyus. We have all this, so we just want you to follow up, listen, watch, and of course, subscribe. Is that all, Madam MD?
And please listen to our podcasts.
Oh, yeah? That's another area that you need to listen to. Very good. Is that all?
Thank you. That's all.
Thank you very much indeed for swinging by. We appreciate your time.
You're welcome.
Thank you very much indeed. Agnes Kaleche, Managing Director, Kenya Broadcasting Corporation, is joining us here at the Connected Africa Summit, which is coming to a close this afternoon. I can tell you for sure, I've seen the high-end delegation, they have trooped into the room telling you that the closing session is almost coming. Well, my name is O'Brien Kimani. We'll keep you posted on what's happening here at the Connected Africa Summit. Back to you, Njenga in Broadcasting House.
Thank you. O'Brien Kimani, they're engaging the MD for KBC, Agnes Kaleche, on KBC digitization agenda. And of course, she has said we are on all platforms, social media platforms. And of course, it's at KBC Channel 1. And you can follow us on all our social media platforms. And we're moving on now. But before we move on, we're going to take a short break. And then we'll come back. I'll be telling you more from the counties as well as what is happening around the world.
Imagine Imagine a future where you can enjoy the fruits of your hard work without financial worries. A time when you can truly relax, travel, and pursue your passions. To achieve that dream, you need to plan today. With a cost of living constantly rising and inflation showing no signs of slowing down, the money you need today will be nearly 10 times higher by the time you retire. Without a solid retirement plan, you risk financial insecurity when your active income stops. That's why saving for retirement is necessary. Regardless of your age, it's never too early or too late to start planning. Engage with experts from any RBA-registered individual pension plan for guidance in tailoring a retirement strategy based on your current lifestyle, future goals, and desired retirement age. This provides the fixed regular income you'll need after retirement to ensure you live comfortably without compromising your quality of life. The earlier you start saving, the more secure your future will be. Start saving for your retirement today and live your golden years the way you've always dreamed. For more information, visit our website www.rba.go.ke, call our toll-free line 0800 720 300 or email info@rba.go.ke. Secure your future. Secure your peace of mind. RBA, safeguarding your retirement benefits.
Want to delve on a conversation about generational patterns, generational alters.
Pia kwetu tumekwambia tumezaliwa tukiwa 6, mimi number 5. Being number 5 wenye walikuwa mbele yangu hawako wamemaliza shule. Number 1 after kufika class 7 alitoroka actually. Akaenda Somalia kutafuta life. Yeah. Number 2 6. So unaona tunakuja kama tunarudi chini kutoka class 7. Huyu mwingine second born akadrop yake akiwa class 6. That born ndiye alijaribu sana. Akadrop akiwa class 3.
Class 3?
Yeah, class 3.
Na wazazi wako wanaleta noma nini?
After amechapa mtu huyu akaenda. Niliamkanga tu nikaketi chini nikaambia God, if at all it's your will, niendelee kukaa kwa hii marriage, wacha nijue leo. Sasa Mungu ameniambiaje? Kalenga kubwa. So that's how I left. Na ni mbio, asifikirie kuja kwa nyumba kuja pata unapaka. Yutani itakuwa tuna story nyingine mbaya. Mimi na feel something would have been done back then. Maybe kama prayers wange dig deep, hii kitu ingetuokolea kina sisi sasa. So hiyo kitu nilionanga na ni kitu yenye jumi ndio nime-identify hiyo shida. So nisiposimama nivunje, hakuna mwenye ataivunja.
If we don't hear from Joyce by evening, I think we should.
Najua ile kitu sitaki ni kuripoti mambo police station kwanza.
Ukitaka kutoa niona tena, try forcing him on me. If you can't stand him, what makes you think I can?
Sababu yako kuwa hapa ni nini?
Really, Dad? We're going to do this right now.
When was the last time Joyce called you?
We, ni fire.
Kushasi Mama Musa.
That's it.
Welcome back. You're still watching Lunchtime News, and we are on all our social media platforms. We're streaming live on YouTube, so you can follow us and get to know what's happening nearest you. Now, renowned Kenya author Professor Ngugi wa Thiong'o is dead. Ngugi died at the age of 87 in the US. Announcing his death Wednesday, the family called for a celebration of his work. Ngugi is widely regarded as Kenya's most influential writer and one of Africa's leading literal voices. President William Ruto has eulogized renowned author Ngugi wa Thiong'o as Kenya's beloved teacher, writer, playwright, and public intellectual.
Kenya is mourning the death of one of its greatest sons, world-renowned literature giant Professor Ngugi wa Thiong'o, who died yesterday in Atlanta, USA. His works documenting the transformation of Kenya from a colonial subject to a democracy. Ngugi first rose to prominence in the 1960s with his novel Weep Not Child. This was the first major novel in English by an East African author. President William Ruto termed the late Ngugi as the towering giant of Kenyan letters, whose patriotism was undeniable, courageous and bold, adding that the late Ngugi will remain the champion of literary emancipation and innovation. Thiongo's daughter, Wanjiku Wangugi, through her Facebook page, said her father passed away on Wednesday. Wanjiku further disclosed that her father's last wish was to have his life and work celebrated when he passes on. Ngugi wa Thiong'o was born on January 5th, 1938 in Kamiridhu, Kiambu County, and will be remembered by many for his literary works, including The River Between, Weep Not, Child, A Grain of Wheat, Petals of Blood, and Wizard of the Crow. In 1979, his play, I Will Marry When I Want, co-authored with Ngugi wa Thiong'o, led to his detention without trial. During his imprisonment, he wrote Devil on the Cross, marking his first novel penned in Gikuyu. Following his release, Ngugi eventually settled in the United States, where he reportedly served as a professor of English and comparative literature. Mchuma Odim, Lunchtime News.
The Institute of Surveyors of Kenya, ISK, has called on the government to adequately utilize technology through the digitization of land records in order to curb the issue of fraud within the sector. Speaking during the pre-annual general meeting conference in Mombasa, ISK President Eric Nyadimo said that the perennial problem is as a result of lack of proper access to data. He noted that the Ministry of Land should complete the digitization process since the country now has access to technology.
Challenges faced by the citizens across the country, including the development of informal settlements, insecure tenure, land degradation, overlapping mandates, and a lack of up-to-date evaluation roles. I want to encourage the members of the public that if they have an issue with a survey work that is being done or evaluation work that is being done, they, instead of attacking the professionals who have come to do that kind of work, they can ask for intervention from the local administration.
1, 2, 3.
Now we head to Kilifi, where more than 10,000 residents of Jilore village in Kilifi County are finally set to receive title deeds after the government launched a long-awaited land adjudication exercise in the area. The process, officially commissioned by Governor Gideon Mung'aro, marks the end of 122 years of old dispute between locals and the Anglican Church of Kenya, ACK, over the about 1,300 acres parcel of ancestral land and the church acquired in 1903. The church held land, or rather the church held the land on a 99-year-old leasehold tenure that expired 22 years ago. The resident and the local leaders petitioned the government not to renew it after a long legal battle. The church eventually lost ownership of the land, paving the way for adjudication exercise.
Sheria ya kaunti sasa ambayo ukitaka kuingilia mambo ya mashamba hata serikali ya kitaifa lazima kaunti ijue ndio wafanye chochote. Kama ni urithi, sisi kama serikali ya kaunti tunajua familia zetu, tunajua ndugu zetu, tunaweza kuwa mashahidi wa rahisi.
Now we go straight to Homa Bay, where we were there earlier on, and now we'll be still linking up with Achola Simon, who is handling the conference, that is the Blue Economy Conference. What is the latest update from your end, Achola?
Well, thank you very much, Wairimu Njenga. The story here is about innovation. Well, Caro, Wairimu Njenga, The story here has been about innovation and, of course, encouraging the locals here to ensure that they can actually go an extra mile in terms of exploiting the vast potential in the lake in terms of blue economy. But one key thing that must be done is ensuring the branding of the products so that then they can actually be accepted on the market. And there's no better person who can actually delve deeper into that to tell us what exactly is needed in terms of patenting your products and very many other necessary steps towards ensuring that indeed your product can actually be accepted on the market. John, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you, Simon.
Kenya Industrial Property Institute, how important is it in terms of ensuring that even as we encourage Kenyans to actually be innovative and exploit the vast potential in the blue economy, that indeed they are safe?
Thank you very much, Simon. My name is John Onyango. I'm the Managing Director, Kenya Industrial Property Institute, which is a state department in the Ministry of Investments, Trade and Industry. Our mandate is very clear in terms of promoting inventions and innovations and facilitating acquisition of industrial property rights. So if you come up with any innovations in various areas, we will grant you rights for patents, for utility models, for industrial designs, and for trademarks.
How important is this?
Now, this is very important to our economy because if you take, for example, the MSME sector, this is a very important area of growth in our country. And this year's celebration of Madaraka, which is the maritime economy and the maritime economy, there's a lot of potential in this area. And in this exhibition, I saw so many MSMEs here. And these MSMEs exploit the various potential that we have in the maritime economy to produce various goods and services. So this is the main contribution to our economy, because when MSMEs play their rightful role, then the youth have opportunities for job, they have employment income, and we are contributing economically to growing our GDP as a country.
Quite often when you're talking about patents and branding and what have you, most of the time people think it's about big brands and what have you. What is the encouragement to the youth?
Now the youth, there's a lot of potential in this area, and that is why you want the youth to seize this opportunity and exploit the potential that is available here. There are so many things that can be done by exploiting the marine life in terms of the flora and fauna, and we have seen various products here that can come from this area. Some of them is, for example, from the water hyacinth. Now we can have ethanol as a product that can be used for fuel, household fuel that is used by households for various things. And we also...
Thank you, Chola Simon, right there in Homa Bay County, talking to the Director General of the Kenya Industrial Property Institute on patenting innovation for prosperity. Now, tension is brewing among residents living along the Meru-Isiolo border area, specifically in Gambela, due to an ongoing land ownership dispute. More than 700 members of the Takawai Farmers Society, who collectively own over 400 acres of land in the area, have appealed to government intervention after some of their officials allegedly colluded with private developers and sold portions of the land. According to Mohammed Abdi, the land is an ancestral land which was later registered under the society since official government gazettement of the land ownership had not yet occurred. He further claimed that powerful forces have now taken over and are using firearms to intimidate locals who try to access the land. Numerous human rights violations have been reported.
Kati. Atusaidie, watusaidie. Huyu Musa juzi alidungwa
na bunduki, sijui bunduki halali au bunduki haramu, si sajajua. Ya pili, meshikana jinsi ayona dio, wakati sinaingia shamba, polisi inakuja na nasa sisi, polisi inakimbisha sisi.
Haki ifanyike, na sisi tumeamua kukufia hapa ndani na tutaishi hapa, na kwa hivyo tunaomba wale ambao walikasarika kutoa pesa zao pia. Hii maneno ya ardhi ni maneno, si maneno ya mchezo.
We change gears now to business news as we look at the latest from the field. And the latest is the Kenya Association of Manufacturers is expressing fears that Kenya could face electricity rationing in coming months if urgent investments are not made in new power generation projects. Speaking during the launch of the new enhanced flooded battery, Kenya Association of Manufacturers Chief Executive Officer Tobias Alando said increased demand for electricity in recent months has seen the idle capacity thin.
Kenya saw the peak demand in electricity rise thrice between December 2024 and February 2025 to the current 2,316 megawatts. However, the country has been slow in onboarding new electricity generation projects after a moratorium was placed on new power purchase agreements. This is a concern to manufacturers who feel their operation could grind to a halt due to electricity rationing. Orlando is also challenging the private sector to set up investments in clean energy sources like solar and wind.
This is a demonstration that the manufacturing sector can really grow if we are keen enough to address some of the concerns in terms of the predictability of the tax and the policy environment in this country. And the launch of this product by Chloride is a demonstration that there's a lot that we can do locally in terms of the production of different goods, different items for the local market.
This comes as Chloride XZ launched the new enhanced flooded battery aimed at supporting consistent power for innovation and local manufacturing.
As demand was going up and our customers started demanding for a battery that is able to power such kind of a vehicle, we had to actually go back to the drawing board and be able to manufacture a battery that is able to meet that demand. So collaboratively, we did this with the NTSA in terms of seeing what are people importing into this country. We also collaborated with local car yards. And in the moment we realized that the demand for start-stop application had risen because the vehicles were many in the country and the population was growing, we were able now to be confident to be able to engineer a product that fits that purpose.
The manufacturing sector contributes 7.6% to Kenya's economy. Sylvia Gatti reporting for KBC Channel 1.
Now moving on to other stories and making headlines in the world of business. As we look at the areas of the latest from the Equity Bank, where it has reported 14.8 billion shillings in net profit during the first 3 months of the year. Our reporter Alan Walker is working on that story and will be bringing us the details of the equity results in the first quarter of this year. Now we go to e-mobility, if it's ready. But before that, let's look at the energy efficiency in the country. It's a story that we are following up as the business team. And the Energy and Petroleum Regulatory Authority has urged businesses to embrace energy audits and enhance efficiency and grid reliability which would lower energy costs. That's a story also we are following up as business reporters. Now moving on to
and then we have China, which is from Asia, providing the units, the vehicles. So it is a very good organization that we'll be able to bring together, and we hope it will help a lot in the future.
We are happy Greenmax came on board to support these drivers who have had an experience with EV to now own a high-range electric vehicle like Neta. We hope that in future we have better vehicles that the drivers can take up.
Now, to sports, 12 Kenyan coaches have graduated from the House of Coaches project, which is an elite exchange program born from the cordial and impactful relations between Kenya and the city of Biramamas in France. The graduating coaches, including 9 specializing in athletics and 3 others trained in taekwondo, cycling and strength training, officiating the graduation ceremony in Mirimama's Cabinet Secretary for Sports, Salim Mvurya, applauded the determination, discipline and resilience exhibited by the Kenyan coaches. CS Mvurya emphasized Kenya's intention to end cooperation with France beyond the current discipline. Well, and that is where we put a cap on today's lunchtime news. But do keep do keep it locked here at KBC Channel 1. We have various bulletins that will be running. We have the 4 o'clock, and we also have the 7 and the 9 p.m. bulletin with the latest updates of what is happening across the world and as well as in the country. My name is Njenga. Have a good afternoon.
Pamela? Where's Pamela?
Morning, Grandma. Morning, Grandpa.
Snow.
Take your tea. Who takes tea in the morning?
Hey. Why are you not in school?
I cannot go to school with trauma.
Unbelievable.
Umepatikanaje huko? Si nimefikiria nitakutadana hapa.
Sasa mlikuwa unafaa kunisaidia. Ulinipeana nikauawe.
Imagine hiyo haikuwa plan yangu. Care to explain?
Words have ears.
Acha nikwambie. I will fight my tooth to the bone. No. What brings you here? We used to work with your dad.
Hello and welcome to Health and Lifestyle, your health show that keeps you informed on matters health. My name is Marie Yambo. At KBC, Channel 1 on X is where you can interact with us. And it's all about nurses. The Nurses Week is celebrated every May, and it's a special time to celebrate the men and women who are truly at the heart of healthcare. At the Kenyatta University Teaching, Referral and Research Hospital, we take a closer look inside the general ward and operating room, where healing goes far beyond medicine. It's about compassion, courage, and the quiet strength that nurses bring every single day. And as the world pauses to honor nurses, we share the story of the people who show up not for recognition, but for a simple, powerful mission: to care. Coming up in the program.
Our work, first of all, is to ensure that the patients are well.
They are there when you take your first breath and when you take your last. Nurse Morris and Njomba share their journey in the nursing profession.
I think the world has realized that this hospital is matching the global space. So this has become the fetching ground. We are losing nurses every day.
Kenya's nurses brain drain. We speak to the Director, Nursing Services at the Kenyatta University Hospital. And on Good Practice, we take you down memory lane on the nursing profession. And to our first segment, behind every heartbeat in the ward is a nurse. And behind that nurse is a story. Today, we meet Maurice Mutua and Norman Njomba. Both are nurses at the Kenyatta University Teaching, Referral and Research Hospital, whose journeys reflect the strength and the spirit of thousands of nurses across Kenya. Here is their inspiring stories. Though they work in the same hospital, their roles are vastly different.
Maurice Mutua is a general ward nurse, and Norman Mjomba is a precision-driven force in the operating theatre. For 15 years, Maurice has devoted his life to caring for patients. In the ward, he's more than just a nurse.
The first thing for a nurse is the patient, because ideally, you want to see the well-being of the patient and ultimately the family at large. So our work, first of all, is to ensure that the patients are well. And even before we start our cares, we ensure that even psychologically we've greeted our patients, how they have slept, how their day was, all the challenges they are facing at that moment. Then now you're able to address any other issue. But in our setup, you're going to find that nurses are going to ensure that patients have their meals. We make sure that patients have been given their medications. We look at them, generate to ensure that the investigations have been done. For instance, we are doing the lab works, we are doing the radiologies like CT scans, all that. So a nurse is wholesome for a patient.
He is a witness to the joys of recovery and the heartbreak of loss.
Seeing a patient achieve their health through your hands is a great achievement.
There are times when it's not about recovery, but about guiding patients and their loved ones through those final difficult moments.
What we do in such moments, you take patients through the process, because this is a process of dying. You take them through acceptance because they are going to be into depression. You prepare the relatives and their people. You take them through that moment.
Dealing with such moments can weigh heavily mentally.
That's a psychological trauma, and we experience that as nurses. So progressively, if you lose a patient, and maybe yesterday you had lost another one, it affects you psychologically. And in that case, we go through debriefing moments whereby we discuss that. It's like you are unwinding.
Just a few floors away, Norman Mjomba works in the silent precision of the operating theatre.
The nurse ensures there's a full preparation of the patient from the time the decision was made for surgery until the time the patient comes, psychological support and preparation, ensuring that all investigations and the preliminaries preparation have been done. Hence, receiving the patient, advocating for the patient, for the right surgery, right patient, right every action that is supposed to be done on that patient. Intraoperatively, the nurse ensures that preparation of all equipment, instrumentation is done, and assist the surgeons in all manner possible to ensure the patient has been served in the right prescribed surgery. Thereafter, post-op, they also nurse. There we have the perioperative nurse or the PACU nurse, who is an ICU nurse, who takes care of the patient immediately postoperatively before discharging home, or even discharging to the ward, or even escalation to critical care units.
Here, emotions must be steady even when lives hang in the balance.
I can say we live under pressure, but we always have calm down. Composure is key in our setup. But in an event, we have emergencies, like bleeding emergencies, like patient has complicated, like cardiac arrest emergencies, or any other related medical conditions, surgical conditions. This nurse is well enabled because he's trained and they are well able to handle these emergencies. So I can say that pressure overtakes us. We handle the pressure.
For him, the greatest reward is knowing he played a role in saving a life.
It's basically job satisfaction. Well, after the end of the day, you have the task at hand, you finished, and the patient progressed well and they gave good outcomes. That is a high moment for me, I can say. Recently, we had a kidney transplant, 2 pairs we did, 2 concurrent days. It's an achievement for us. And the patients are well now, they are able, they are regained back to normal life, and that's a high moment for us. But contrary, we can also have the low moments when it goes the south way. Maybe we lose a patient intraoperative or during our care, or the surgery is maybe supposed to be curative, but it doesn't cure, or you're supposed to